Hello and welcome to another Setons Cast. Just saw that my last cast is 4 years ago. But I found this nice replay here and thought, let's try to get into casting again. I appreciate feedback on this cast because, as probably many know, I'm not a dramatic caster. I'm more into explaining stuff in terms of strategic aspects, technical aspects, micro aspects, and so on, and try to help you benefit from my thoughts, and so I can maybe help you improve your own gameplay. So that means I will talk about a lot about specific things. This will, I tend to recognize everything when I watch my replays on my own, but when I have to cast, there's a lot of going on and all this talking, then I might miss certain aspects. So don't think I don't realize those things, but I can't talk about everything. I will try to put the focus on the most important. So let's go. We have for South team Nexus on Air, 2400 rated. It's quite high rated gameplay here. And Cities also called Doni on Beach, Knospach gigs, which is a C account player like that is like over 10 years around in the community. And Ben is on Rock. And for the North team, we have Public Enemy, Turbo, Public Enemy on Mid, Turbo on Rock, Kuva, Kleber, which is German word, but he's Polish, on Air. And we have Nori on Beach, one of the best players right now. There are some rumors that he had another account earlier, but I think he's just a new player. I think he sits around 1,500 to 2,000 games now, and is already now one of the best Setons players that are around right now. So let's go into the replay, remove the names so we can see a little bit more. Yeah, the first thing we can notice is that we have first F factory for Knusper cakes on middle. This will, yeah, we can already see it on the bottom left. This is bomber first. What else? You won't make an air factory if you don't make a bomber early. There's no reason to do an air factory otherwise. Maybe Jester first, that's also possible. Yeah, okay, so we have bomber first in the middle. What we can also see is that we have an air factory from Nori, which is also quite important. The build order I see here, there's factory queued up. That's an aggressive build order. This is not the normal gameplay we will see. The actual meta is right now to move as the front player, like Doni does, to the middle. So you have usually two ACUs fight versus each other. As Doni does here, he's reinforcing his teammate in the middle. And for the North team, Nori stays at its base, so which is quite significant. And what he wants to do by keeping his ACU in the middle, yeah, he's announcing that he's staying home, so his teammate knows what's going on, is that he boosts up this way his early build, with which he wants to attack his enemy pretty early. Okay, Public Enemy scouted or realized that there's an early bomber. It was a nice split here. Some micro going on. Another nice micro. So it's only one engineer killed so far. That's not much. It's quite ineffective bomber right now. And that's really bad luck for Knospach Cakes here, because Nori made so early interceptor, which is quite rare. 2-minute interceptor is usually not happening. And so this bomber killed only 2 engineers and is very ineffective, but it delayed a little bit Nori on his attack on Venice. So this interceptor is like 20 seconds delayed now. It would arrive way earlier here, which is quite annoying for Nori, which we will see in the near future. Because that transport now is finished around 2:55, loading up the engineers, and that interceptor, I think it wasted more time here. But this interceptor would have been here in time and would have killed this transport here right now. But Nori doesn't get distracted too much. He made a follow-up bomber. Does he know where the transport is? He probably knows because he saw that their engineers are missing. Now he knows there's the transport. Intercept command will arrive soon. And the bomber is pretty crucial right now. Venice knows, or should know, that he scouted the ACU. At least he saw it for a bit. The question is whether he really realized the ACU was here, and he sees this kind of build order. And if you see the ACU at the beach spot, you know that he wants to be aggressive. And if you know that you're facing a very good player that keeps his ACU in base and wants to get aggressive, then what you don't do is build mexes first. What you want to build first is either a factory, most likely, or if you know what's going on, you make AA or PD, depending on what's going on, to defend your island. Venice also has the issue that he power stalls pretty hard, which is a little bit confusing to me. Because why is he stalling so hard? Because other than this bomber, he didn't get affected in his build. So his build order here seems very inefficient. This factory here is bad. You don't need this factory, and it drains a lot of power building it. It needs further investigation to see you want the build order. But in the end, he made too few pigeons. Yeah, he's upgrading 2 mexes here. They drain 60 power each. And then this factory, this was just too much power-heavy things he made early on. And this way he was even slower than necessary. Donny realized that Venice has some early aggression issues and provides him with his interceptor support, which is quite important because Nori knows that he has the upper hand about the rock player. It's 2 bombers, 3 inties versus 1 intie and this transport here and nothing else. So he would be able to still harass his enemy here, but the interceptors, which is nice gameplay here, help Venice a lot and helps him to resist the early attacks. Without Donny providing this, I mean, if Donny doesn't had an eye on him, he would have been in way bigger trouble here right now with that gameplay from Nori. But this also weakens Donny's defense as well, because he provided 3 inties here, which is quite a lot early on, and he has only 1 intie at his base right now. This makes him vulnerable to drops. Nori already queued up a transport, so he benefits from this situation here. Venice was luckily delayed, basically delayed himself by his power issues. So Nori's engineers arrive early, and he was very lucky, or Venice was unlucky, or not microed. This transport from Venice didn't land at all. It was intercepted by 1 intie. With some micro, he could have landed his engineers, but then would have had to fight those engineers as well. So, whatever, the island now belongs to Nori. In the middle, we see the gun ACU from Public Enemy, which is a interesting decision and also, I think, pretty bad micro or macro management, because he makes a Tech 2 factory while upgrading mexes, while taking up his ACU in front, with lots of assists. This is very power intense. It's 300 power plus the assisting engineers. That's 400 power he needs basically for this by 420 total income. Then we have 80 power usage from the Tech 2 upgrading factory. We have 20 by each factory. We have the upgrading maxes. It's just too much power consumption at the same time. So, and by this, he delays everything. He delays the Tech 2 factory, he delays the Tech 2 maxes, he delays his ACU. And to have an effective gun ACU, you want to have it ready as fast as possible. And the disadvantage by doing like he did, you will see very soon, because we see that Knusper Cakes is now here with 2 ACUs. It doesn't have any upgrade right now. So if he would finish his upgrade by now, he would be able to fight 2 ACUs with no upgrades. But now it takes way longer because too few power. And now there's the upgrade, very late. He started like, 70 seconds ago. And now he's done. And now he starts his upgrade. He doesn't have that much power, but it's a little bit more power income. And there's no Tech 2 factory upgrade. There's only 1 max upgrading. And there's the factory being made. I wouldn't do this as well, because I know that it's quite time critical, because this is 100 power consumption. This is 35 power each engineer draining from your power pool by making this factory, which is very important right now. Pretty close eco. He had to remove the assistance from his ACU because the arty shells hit all this mantis. Very close. And the only reason he survives that push is because Dhoni's ACU is also here. It doesn't have any upgrade, but it provides very crucial health pool and also some firepower, because otherwise he would have been able to overrun it, even with his inefficient build. And that's why I don't agree that this gun option was a good idea. I mean, it could have been with better macro, but if you face 2 ACUs, I think gun is not the best option to take. If you are very confident that you can outperform 2 ACUs and the units as well. And he didn't have intel, so he didn't know. So it was a pretty big gamble on that gun ACU. So all along we see now both islands for North Team. We see that little advantage now for Dogla because he gets all the reclaim here. At least it looks like it right now. Public enemy is actually in the defense. We missed a drop here from Turbo, which was probably also related. Oh, very important thing happening right now. Which was probably also related because he provided his intis here. And that's why he opened up his defense versus drops. And therefore he lost his nice expansion here. Yeah. One of the nice things this game is here a very interesting build, which needs a video on its own. You see it's 2 ASF out already at 850. I think he finished his Tech 3 factory at around 820, from what I saw when I reviewed the replay. And now he's making a strat bomber. So we see a 9-minute, I think it's 9:20, strat bomber getting finished out of the factory. They realized it, North Team realized it. Oh, so many. And this is why, yeah, strat rush. This is that they noticed the strat rush. This is because they see the pigeons, the energy storages, which is a very big hint on a strat rush. and now he's reacting to it. And he abandoned his second pigeon, which I disagree. He should just have finished it. He will be late anyway, and try to mimic the rush build to be a little bit faster. But I think it would have been more resilient and way better to finish both. And then the next mistake he's doing, he's not using. He should have finished this pigeon, and then he had more power available to Nexus, and then he should have used his Tech 3 engineers in addition to add up his build power, and then he would have outperformed Nexus in terms of building ASF. But he is still quite early ASF now. 9:30 is also pretty early timing. The threat is in the middle at 9:45, which is very early. This is a timing where some people don't even have the Tech 3 pigeon finished. So he dropped first bomb, second bomb. He has only 2 ASF around. Kuva has also 2 ASF, and there is some intis. Yeah, Nexus has to defend now with only 2 ASF, which is the biggest problem. He doesn't have the DPS to kill enemy strats efficiently. And then there are intis mixing up. So in the end, the strat dies after 4 bombs, and he doesn't possess air right now. So, and Nexus paid the price with crippling his eco. He still has 1 to take 1 Nexus. To make this build work, you can't upgrade too many Tech 2 mixes. This is how you do basically this rush. It relies on the back of Nexus not getting upgraded. And on the other side now, Kuva should have air for the next time. This is basically the theory. I still don't agree with that pigeon here. That should be finished, although it's not only a Tech 2 pigeon, but it was half made and it would provide more power. Turbo probably in reaction to this air game started making Tech 2 air and started making Swift spins, because on one hand he probably was afraid whether he needs Swift fins on his own, because they can shoot pretty efficiently down strats as well. And on the other hand, now after the strat rush got repelled, you could assume that you will have air, because the South player lost the strat and it was very expensive, and now you can make air, you can outperform the South player. So that opens up the window for him to use Tech 2 air. That's basically what Turbo is thinking right now. On the north side, Nori fortified his island to defend it versus a potential ACU drop. This is what the most common thing is to retake the island, is you drop either a gun commander or the rock player, which we are going to see, or Tech 2 ACU. In this case, we see a Tech 2 ACU getting dropped on the island. And he prepared a bit with Tech 1 PDs. Little mistake is here, you want basically to cover all areas and not only one area. And then you want to have like 10 arties, Tech 1 arties here. Right now the Tech 1 arties are here to help fighting the frigates. Venice is probably attacking this to keep Nori busy defending the frigates and not fortifying the island anymore. But overall, I don't agree with attacking this island too much if it's not cheap. You just deliver mass, and it's quite easily to be defended. There's basically, if you lost the island a lot of build power, then there's arties, and that's not the most efficient spot to attack. Some frigates here will be efficient. You can kill build power, you can annoy your enemy. Yeah, because right now, Nori dictates what's going on the battlefield. Nori or Bennis gets dictated by going on the spot Nori wants him to be, and he takes very nice fights. He has one torpedo launchers here, and there's no way Venice can do any harm here to this island from this perspective. Usually this drop should be unsuccessful. Yeah, on the other hand, we see now quite a lot of ASF for Coover. He still would take one max here, which he probably misses. He just finished, or not just, but he finished the take to PJ. But he's pausing for some reason. He's pausing his ASF production. It's probably, yeah, he wants to have more eco. But I don't agree. You should never overflow too much power. You basically want all the time use as much power as possible. Oh, then we see a little air fight. Hoover together with the Swifties. Now the Swiftwinds pay off. Yeah, the Swiftwinds were pretty crucial. Without the Swiftwinds, Nexus would have won air here. But the Swiftwinds made Nexus the Swiftwinds made Nexus lose here right now. So this very moment, I would think that now you can't lose air here. But what Kuba does now is he makes torpedo bombers. I watched this replay now for 4 times, and I don't know why he makes torpedo bombers. Because what he risks now is possessing 4 ASF that he will lose air again. And you are the air player. You want to provide air cover to make your teammates able to use air. At 7 torpedo bombers, it's like 4 to 5 ASF that are not made. You risk losing air, although it was pricely won here because Turbo sacrificed a lot of eco by making Swiftwinds to help his air player defending versus the enemy air player, and in return he expects air cover in the future. So those torpedo bombers, I can already tell you, attack this factory here, which doesn't do anything, it just gets repaired. So those 7 bombers will be completely useless. In the middle, we see now a huge push from Dogler, which is also not nicely microed. You want your ACU not to be in the middle of your units, because you block yourself. You want to be on the sides, or you want to have your units in front of you, or you want your units behind you or something else. But you don't want to run straight into in the middle of your units because you get blocked. And he has stealth, and you can see that his stealth is not of any use right now because he is absolutely in vision range. So he doesn't use his stealth ability correctly, and he's facing up 4 Tech 2PDs. In the meantime, now Coover loses air because he made torpedo bombers, which didn't do anything. And usually Nexus should not have had any air possession soon after he lost air here and he made the stretch here. North team should have had air for the next minutes. But so many things going on the same time. There's an ACU on the island, there's an air fight, there's the fight in the middle. Then we see here the usage of the torpedo bombers and a lot of aggression from Doni. Yeah, in the end, the bombers get shot down, the torpedo bombers. Those torpedo bombers here will be killed soon, so Turbo can't use Take 2 air anymore because they lost air. And they didn't get anything for because the Take 2 torpedo bombers were useless. Nexus immediately uses that opportunity. He has a Tech 3 gunship, has 11 ASF. He's killing the torpedo bombers. So he neutralizes the advantage from Turbo he had right now. And now he's getting attacked by air as well, which he wasn't aware of, and he should never have expected at all. There was no reason, after he committed so many Swift wins to help his air player, that he will be in the situation to getting attacked by airs anytime soon. But he is now, which is really unfortunate for him. Venice managed, that was pretty tight. He was at one point below 3000 HP. He was at one point very close to die. And you can revisit this replay by yourself. I will put it in the description. This island should have been defended by Nuri. I mean, Nuri has very good skills in microing, but having double base after he killed, he probably lacked some APM to do so. And he made some mistakes early on, but this was very lucky for Bennis that he could have retaken this island. At this point in the game, I mean, you see the North team is about to recall, which they don't, because one is not accepting, because they think they will lose now. But on the other hand, if Bennis died after Knusperkeks died, then this house team would have had only 2 ACUs controlling the entire map, which is very problematic. And if Venice died, the North team would have had a much favorable situation. So very clutch situation. But now it is what it is. Venice took the opportunity and immediately attacked, which is a correct move, Nori, to deny as fast as possible the build power from Nori. So, because you never want, or you want as fast as possible to have the control over the entire ocean. Because usually games on Setons Clutch are won by winning the navies. Because then if you won navy, you have a lot of control over a lot of maxes, and that's what you want. Okay, so North team is actually in a quite bad shape. Nori is getting his build power denied, a lot of navy for Venice, not much he has to counter that. And Turbo is also under a lot of pressure. We have, let me see, we have 29 or 27 ASF. This is 27 ASF. And we have only 17, but Turbo made a strategic control K on his ACU after Nexus flew over his commander, and now he has only 8 ASF. So he killed around 20 ASF with that ACU explosion. And that was the sacrifice necessary. And now Nexus lost air. So if you want to do a heroic move for your team, and you see that there will be an air fight, you can always use your ACU to kill a lot of ASF and might turn the tide. So keep that in mind. Also keep that in mind as an air player. Never, basically really never, fly about an enemy ACU, because that can kill a lot of ASF from yourself. And you see, it's a pretty crucial moment. But now Nori is on 3 bases. He's controlling both sides, which is one of the worst things that can happen to you, because you have to control 2 navies, and you have to control front. You have a lot of engineers. You have to reschedule commands. So and he's under pressure. Both navies are under pressure. Well, it's a very tough situation Nuri is in here. His ACU is exposed. Yeah, this is a little bit weird. Nexus said he has to go for a while, and Venice has to take the base. So it's like 2 versus 2 right now. But North Team is in a very bad shape. After, as we remember, Doni got dropped here. North Team had both islands. In the middle, we had the gun commander. We had the bomber for South that wasn't effective. So it looked a lot better for North Team. And everything basically turned with two things. First of all, with the poor air usage from Cougar. And second, with the lucky retake of that island. And also quite important, which was not good. If you see that both navies are in heavy micro, you don't want to risk your ACU in the middle. Because after Public Enemy died, he made Nori brought him in a bad position because he had to micro a lot. And his approach to play the game was already a pretty APM heavy. It's very important often that, I mean, if the gameplay is around Tech 3 stage and only battleships and so on, then it's pretty easy. But if you have side players that are microing heavy, then it's the least thing they need to care about is another base. And that's why you shouldn't risk your ACU. So Benes is making ASF now. He's bringing them to the table, to his side, to defend his navy. And it also makes him micro the airbase. Because what I wonder here, he has 4 destroyers. He has cyber destroyers. They have very good anti-torp, so there's no reason to run from those submerged destroyers. He should not remove this position here. He has more navy. He has also cyber and anti-air, and he should just stay here. There's also basically a lot of people, when they face torpedo bombers, they think, it's a problem, I retreat. But you should consider this, but you shouldn't do it pretty often, because by retreating, you lose your navy anyway. And if you lose them anyway, you can still keep here and do a little bit of damage. Yeah. Yeah, I had to make a short break, but now we continue. I actually missed that drop. Oh, that's a very nice drop. Just some Tech 2 engineers, and it looks like they will deny 3 Tech 3 mixers. Which is very important right now. We see that the incomes and the score for both teams are very equal. Yeah, we realized that Benes has now to micro air, and that he shouldn't have retreated from here. There was no reason. So, yeah, you see the result. So, he retreated from here, and he just took damage. And there was no reason to not have his destroyers in shooting range. And he has, it's one of the disadvantages if you micro multiple things. He now lost control over his air force and is losing air. So now North Team lost South Pond pretty significantly, but they won air quite decisively. Because South Team has no ASF, North Team has 40 ASF, so that opens up the opportunity for them to make usage of Tech 2 air. Kuva is still in this Tech 1 mix here. But yeah, they have a little bit less eco, but not that much. Nori is here in the water, risking his ACU. But he's really fiercely fighting. He doesn't have sonar, so he doesn't see that much here. Doni is killing Eco as fast as possible. And Kuva is now making gunships and torpedo bombers, while Benes is expanding the air grid. making cruisers. Doni also provides some help on the North Pod, which is the perfect decision. I mean, he should have perfect control over the South Ocean. Although, you see a pretty big mistake. He has absolute control here. He doesn't need any frigates. He doesn't need any destroyers. What he needs is like anti-air right now. And what you want to do is, which is the most reliable anti-air, you make flak. You don't waste too much mass on Navy units because you have already control, but you want to secure it from air. After you realize you lost air, you want to make flak, or at least cruisers. Or what you also can do is drop Tech 1 engineers and make Tech 1 AA. But he doesn't do so because right now, South Navy, as it is Aeon, there's really not a single anti-air device in the South Sea. All destroyers and all frigates have no AA. Could have been completely killed by air. And Bennis now pays the price that he doesn't make frigates. He has no frigates, and he's getting pushed back by good old hover our team. Yeah, Coover making more and more torps, 25 torps, still 58 ASF. The air grid is not that big, so Bennis will take a while to catch up. So in theory, what I would recommend is like here, South Navy is 1. There's no reason to urgently win North. I mean, it's cool if you can, but there's no reason to risk anything just for the sake of winning North. Because you already have a tactical advantage by having complete control over the South Ocean. All you want to do is not lose it North now. That's one of the most important things. And what you want to do is to regain air position. So what you should do is provide as much Navy as is necessary to not lose, and put all your efforts into the air game. So you relieve the air stress from the South Ocean. Because you don't want to lose this, and you want to win the game over this flank. You don't have to win both sides. That's what you should consider at this very moment as your most important strategic goals. Because now he's taking not the greatest fights. He's not able to apply enough damage. He doesn't have enough DPS. He loses all his navy to hover. He's delivering reclaim. He should basically retreat here and regroup and stop delivering more and more reclaim. And he shouldn't put his ASF at risk. Because he has a double base, so you should not play a play style that relies on a lot of micro. Which he does right now. This navy here has to be microed, consequently, to be efficient. He has to micro his frigates, he has to micro his destroyers, he has to micro his cruisers. And that is a lot of APM that you don't have if you have double base. So you should just regroup and try to not spend too much APM on this side. So what we can see here is that Nori has 450 mass income versus Bennis on 330, although he's in double base. That's a bit curious. Yeah, there's some Tech 3 maxes. So I mean, Nori has 3 bases basically, so that's not that crazy that he has more mass. But Bennis is also on double base and he has less mass income. So it's clear that after Nori gets access to Navy here, that he will outperform Bennis, which he should be aware of as well. So that's why you should retreat, use the time to eco up, and then try to reject the aggression from Nori, keep him a little bit busy, so Doni is going to win his side. Yeah, in my opinion, he doesn't expand air not enough. There's an SMD, so this SMD is basically erased right now. It's quite hard to get to know that, but it's like that. And stalling so much mass, there's no use of making this SMD here. It's very expensive and it won't load if you stall that much. And the most important thing is air position. The North team has limited tactical or strategic options. After they lost that much here, they have to be afraid of air, and they have to be afraid of losing this very fast. They don't want to lose the control here very fast, and they don't want to get shredded by shred bombers. So one of the most important things is to have a decent Navy game here, and to have to regain air possession as fast as possible. Actually, Dhoni should go into an air grid as well. I mean, people tend to make cruisers or carriers and so on, but the most reliable situation here would be to open up an air grid. So mass income is now heavily in favor for South team. Hoover still has way more ace depth. Those mid units, some of them should have gone through the middle because they could have denied. First of all, there's the Omni that could be denied, and all those tech remixes could also be denied by just sending a couple of units here and there. They can be nicely supported by Navy, but yeah, it's quite easy. You just need a few tanks and nothing more. But as you miss this opportunity, you give the enemy mass that he shouldn't have access to it. So now slowly, Nori he's still making a lot of hover, which is very tempting. But you should. It also drains a lot of mass. You should. Well, yes. Well, in this case, when you have so much mass access, you want to use it as fast as possible, and as long as you can't exchange it into a mass into bit power on Navy, you should use it. But Navy is way more efficient. You should go way more towards the Navy production, which is way more effective. Ah, yeah, there's a Monkey Lord. That's basically a little bit late. It could have been way cheaper, but that's basically the cocked decision. Because this position is very weak, so bring something to the table to deny access to the mass. Strategic bombers here. I mean, they are right now in a pretty desperate situation. They don't have access to a lot of options. And Kuva now has to be afraid of not having air. Is there an air fight? No? No. But those strategic bombers take care. Yeah, the cruisers were a little bit out of place. And I think they will... Oh no, it will survive. 200 HP. 200 HP on that Monkey Lord. It's pretty close. Yeah, I mean, Nori will win Navy. So Dhoni has to win the game over the other side. I think Kuva, I mean, it's very hard, especially if you're under a lot of pressure. But the strategic mastermind gameplay would have been to use air as long as possible. And for example, you first of either you would have strutted one ACU, so the South team would have been down to one, or, which is very efficient or very effective, you win air again and you only use like 5 strategic bombers and kill the air grid. Yeah. And by killing the air grid, you would have won the game. But he tried to go the basic way, like, yeah, making some torps and retaking the navy here, which is also good, but it doesn't lead to win the game. It just leads to some map control, which wasn't important at this point, I think. There's some strategic bombers. Yeah, he wants to deny this position, which is actually a good move. You don't want this to be expanded because it gets more and more annoying to deal with. But it's basically the same. You don't win the game. You lost 3 strats by dealing with specific situations. You want to win the game on the overall scale. So you have to make up your mind from your two tiny goals of dealing with tiny issues. You want to deal with the big picture. And the big picture can only be won by strategic impact. And the strategic impact is only achieved by a few things, like killing a commander, killing like entire possibilities from the enemy team. So like denying them to make air, or there aren't any options more. I mean, a nuke, for example, would deny air navy production here. But they don't have a nuke. Now they get nuked themselves. Where is it? Here, for middle? Yeah. Which is basically a good strategic decision. Deny the option from Nori. Oh, it's a very close nuke. $40 No, this. Oh no, 10 seconds. Oh, that's very close. Yeah, but it will be done in time. It will be intercepted. I think. Oh, it's. Okay. I mean, that was really close. I mean, Nori would have won Navy here, and he would have had access to a lot of reclaim. Doni, on the other hand, has a lot of assists on this nuke. It's a chicken. I actually don't know how this game ends. I just watched it in the middle. So I think if Nori won this here, which would have given him access to a lot of mass by reclaim, and he could have killed this nuke as well, then it would have been removed from Doni the strategic bomber. Oh, where's it going? Oh, there's an SMD. Yeah, that's it's probably here. That would be the correct move. Okay, that's a desperate nuke. Oh, it wasted one SMD. Quite desperate nuke. Could have killed this here, which was reasonable, or go here for the power. So not the really strategic best decision. But to sum it up, I think that Nori with his skills would have had the ability to still win the game. Because Doni, on the other hand, this invasion here is quite limited. The missile ships are quite nasty. He has 2 nuke subs just recently made, and they are loading. Okay, that's a little issue. But with access to all the reclaim, and if he would have rapidly decreased their mass income, they had absolutely a chance. But now I mean, this was only basically the difference between like 5 seconds of this SMD being done or not. Yeah, no, this shit's too much and too few mass income. There's no way Kubo will win now. Let's just watch him struggling. I mean, I would have I have no idea how to do this right now. We just collapse. Venice is actually air position. This ACU shouldn't be here. And ACUs shouldn't be at the same spot as well. You basically, at some point, you want most of the time to be in the water. It's the hardest way to get killed. And you don't want to be here. I mean, they could be nuked here. So the SMD here, they could have been like nuked like here. Is the nuke alive? Yeah, nuke is alive. I mean, with some overview and they sleeping, they could be killed by getting nuked at this point because there's no SMD. Yeah, now the nuke is dead. Oh, and Avasa won't make the difference at this point anymore. The only thing, if you're in this situation that you have map control over everything, the only thing you want is to kill that one ass washer, no matter how much. I mean, you have enough build power to rebuild ASF in a reasonable time. You don't want to go for an air fight. You want this ass washer to be dead. It's all you want. Yeah. Now he gave up. Okay, guys. I think it was a pretty nice replay. I mean, the end, like the last third, was pretty obvious what will happen. Although, as I mentioned, I think Nori with his skills could have had a chance. It's not like it was completely lost, and it's also it reminds me, and you should all remind you that you have to be efficient all the time, even if you think you have, I won South Navy. You have to win the game in the end, no? And it's not like made on its own. You have to do still technical decisions. And yeah, I think the first half was very interesting. A lot of things going on in the middle. First bomber, the air loss, the air rush, the island retake with the ACU, the Navy fight. Venice was pushed back very hard, and Nori got pushed back very hard, and then return again. Yeah, yeah. As I said, I like your feedback. I hope you enjoyed this cast, and see you soon.